Hey everyone, this is Louis7 and I have a question for you all. What better to do at 9:30 p.m. than join LOTRO's latest beta? I'm not sure, so I am going to be playing the Lord of the Rings Online's Update 33 beta. This is round 3, but there are a few interesting things going on. There are going to be, as I put, I think in the thumbnail or title, going to be some class changes, including rework. I would qualify it as a rework for the Loremaster, as well as some buffs for the Minstrel and Brawler. I know the Minstrel buffs were already on the first beta, and there were some other minor changes to other classes and the such. But I think the biggest thing that is new in the beta is actually on the screen right now, and is one reason I logged into Louis the Warden. It is the spear buff. Spears have been buffed. It doesn't look like they have been very significantly buffed, but if we look at the patch notes, which I can eventually find to pull up here, if we look at the patch notes, I'll go ahead and go over that. Okay, so there we go, and desktop. Yes, I still have the cat cam, even though there's no cat, so I can go ahead and disable that. So as far as the notes go here, it's kind of hard to read LOTRO's forums and the such, but because it's so widespread, it does utilize a lot of the screen space, so that's good. I just have to adjust myself. I actually have to move in the chair to try to read this. I don't know if my monitor is just off, but anyway, let's ignore that. I'll zoom in so it's a little bit easier to read. So first of all, a couple Beorning things. Brawler got a lot of buffs here. Champion got minor nerf to Blade Wall. Blade Wall was really strong, so that might even be considered a moderate nerf. Yes, I can share the link. I probably should have put that in the description, but there's the link. And Loremaster's got a pretty hefty rework. There were some changes in the round 2 of the beta. I don't think I ever covered that in a stream or video, but yeah, there are some pretty decent changes in round 2 of the beta, but round 3 now has some even bigger changes. So I'm pretty excited to get to the Loremaster. One of the things is, this is actually from the second round of beta, but they are very weak at low levels, and it looks like that should be fixed. Their scaling at those levels should be fixed. There's changes to Sticky Gourd, Fierce Lightning, Sick'em, Murder of Crows. That's going to be a new thing. There's also Gust of Wind, Burning Embers, Sticky Gourd, all that stuff. Burning Embers, once again, and all the dots with Burning Embers are changed, which also affects Sticky Gourd and Gust of Wind, of course. And yeah, just a whole bunch of things. I think it'll be a lot easier to see how that stuff works in game. But as Andrew said, poor old LMs losing their swarm of animal friends. That is very sad. A lot of these changes for the Loremaster are sad, while the reasoning for these changes makes sense. Some of them really are sad, some old exciting things getting taken away in favor of performance and probably easier balancing. I'm guessing that noise was a result of a cat, in particular the cat that came running over here and not somebody knocking on my door. But it sounded kind of like a knock. Anyway, after Loremaster, we have all the Minstrel changes. These were, again, from the first round, but I never actually personally got to testing them. And a whole bunch of random stuff here that I, from skimming through, didn't really see anything of particular note there. This one's a little bit odd. What they mean by Dugout, Hobbit Hole, and Breland. Not too sure what's going on there. Now, there is this odd change where symbols of Celebrimbor and Elder King should not be disenchantable for Ancient Script. Instead, you'll use them to craft obsolete legendary items for their cosmetics. I'm honestly not a fan of that. I don't mind if you can still use them to craft cosmetics, but not being able to disenchant them, not a fan of. So if you want to disenchant those, make sure you do it before update 33 is what I'm reading here. Let's see, fix stat scaling. Oh yeah, so here's the Spear Pierce. The innate bleed Spear Pierce will correctly scale with level, so I don't know, spears might be slightly better or slightly less worse to use them. I love spears, so I'm happy with that. They've also, in this beta, it looks like implemented the upcoming monetization changes. So yeah, there we go. That is the rundown of what is in the beta, and we can get back to the game here. I did log into my Warden, not just for the spear thing, but there's a new Yondershire map. I wanted to take a look at this. It's a little bit of an odd map. It almost looks like the, say, Wildwood map, where it's a little bit hazy. is how I describe it, rather than like the Bree map is not hazy, the regular Shire map is not hazy, but then, oh, how do you actually click that tier of the win? Well, that don't work. Okay, they don't quite have that on, how about Evendom? Nope. Oh, wow, they actually have that on the big map now, though. That's neat. But anyway, yeah, they have the Yondershire map, and it just looks slightly hazy, but you can now get a better sense of what is going on in the zone and where everything is. Now, as far as I know, they have not made landscape updates. I would be happy to eventually check that out, but the problem is, as I mentioned, I'm starting the stream at 9:30 because I just got a chance to play it. So probably won't have time this evening. And that actually brings me to a note. Before we really get into stuff, I have one thing. Ooh, are these new stable masters? One thing. Oh, wow. Foxton Road? Tyfield? I have no idea where those places are. Let's check that out real quick. But one thing to complain about real quick is betas and LOTRO. I know I've talked about this before, but I really wish they went through the weekend. Sometimes it's just really hard to make sure there's 2 evenings, Wednesday evening and Thursday evening for a regular LOTRO beta at least, to test it. And that is pretty much it. It does run from about Wednesday afternoon to Friday afternoon usually, or more so noon on both of those days. So this is Yonder. Oh, they actually have the stable masters on the map. That would help. I'm surprised they have so many. I know some people are a fan of things like that, but that's a lot of stable masters here. And I do suppose at low levels you don't have... you should have a mount at this point, even if you don't have the riding trait for level 20. You can get that in Bree. But you should have a regular mount, but maybe not a war steed, which I noticed on Louisden having a war steed was really nice to just run through the landscape. So I guess there is that consideration, but yeah. There are a lot of stable masters. That kind of surprises me. It shows Lungobel up there, which I believe is around the ruins. They have that as a marker there. Tham Amothere. Foxton Heath. Yeah, that's a good word to describe, I think, this type of area, heath. It looks like short grass heath, but I think that's just the way it looks in game with the texture. Anyway, and then the green parts that's more Shire-like. Surprised there's no Hobbit village in the old links. That seems like that would be a nice location for one, considering you have Oakbarton right to the east, and then it matches the same green where they built No Bottle. Tyfield, I guess, is the name of that one. Although I don't think that's the name of the camp. Oh, it is. Wow, okay, I just didn't know the name of that village, apparently. Are there 4 villages? So there's... Oh, No Bottle is... Wait, No Bottle's a new one. So there's No Bottle, Tyfield, Gamwich, and Longcleave. So in the beta, I thought there was only No Bottle, Gamwich, and Longcleave, so not sure exactly what happened there. We can go to that Tyfield, see if I actually recognize it. Okay, so to finally get to chat a little bit more, just to properly say hello to everyone. Hello to Sidrian, excited for the Brawler buffs. I'm also excited. All the class changes I'm actually really excited for, even if, as I mentioned, some of the things are a little bit sad to see go away. And yeah, the thing about Sikkim that was really fun is you just summoned all the Loremaster pets. Even if it took forever sometimes to get them to actually work because you had to target your... You had to use the ability, then sometimes you had to target your enemy, then use an ability to order your pets to attack. It was a little bit of a hassle doing that, and pets don't really scale that well. I think around level 105 is when I've heard, at least, the pets get like significantly weaker beyond that point. So yeah, I definitely remember Tyfield. I don't know why I didn't know this was called Tyfield, but I'm pretty sure I went here. I feel like I would have to have gone here, at least. Because this is leading out east. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Radon, I actually just went over the Loremaster changes, but we will get into actually testing that. Loremaster, I think, will be the first class I will get to. But with the Loremaster, in general, they have just been reworked, especially Burning Embers. which also in the red line at least impacts Sticky Gourd and Gust of Wind. They've also reworked Fierce Lightning, which I believe is a red line trait, and maybe some other things even. Oh yeah, so Sikkim, that has been changed to a Murder of Crows, which a Murder of Crows at least sounds exciting. Also, this is a good reminder, some people in my kinship, and not even just in my kinship, some people prefer playing Blue Line Loremaster over Red Line Loremaster. They have more fun with it. So I'm also thinking, or hoping at least with this update, Blue Line Loremaster will at least be a little bit more viable, because I know it was in a very much so not good spot. So let's see, I can go to the Isengard Tavern, but my general strategy for this evening is going to be taking my characters as they are and just testing them as they are without doing any boosts, any gear, any leveling up, or anything like that in the Isengard Tavern. That way, I wonder if my UI is all messed up. That way I can, yeah, directly compare what spec is this character. Okay, he's like way out of date with the setup apparently, but oh, this is the wrong Loremaster. I have a better Loremaster to test. I copied all of my Loremasters, all of my Minstrels, all my Beorning, and all my Brawlers, so it's a little bit of a mess with all the characters I have here. But yeah, all the Lou ones, L-O-U, all the ones that are puns on Louis, they are the new characters. So I tried to make these characters. I don't know how I came up with this one, yeah, but I tried to make all these characters puns on Louis and the class. Elrond here? Yeah, it could have been L for like Eladon, who was in the game considered like a Loremaster and one of the inspirations of the class, so I'm guessing that's how I ended on the L. And Lou L does not sound like a male name, so I went with female. And I did Riel because something probably, I don't remember. Anyway, we want to go to the Isengard Tavern. I don't think you can go directly there. And this character is set up a little bit more up to date with my stuff. So the very first thing I want to do is read Burning Embers. I don't know if they've updated the tooltips. I honestly kind of doubt they updated the tooltips, so we'll probably have to play to actually test these things. Even Fierce Lightning, it says your lightning skills. Okay, that's actually updated. So Fierce Lightning is your lightning skills. So anything that is classified as lightning. Nature's Fury says it's lightning, for example. Lightning Storm, Lightning Strike, I think those are the two obvious ones. Stormlore, that is lightning. Even Power of Knowledge. So according to this, we'll see how it actually works. All of those lightning skills should be able to set the enemy on fire. Now, I don't know if they actually have it, so Power of Knowledge, Stormlore, Nature's Fury. It could just be these two skills they're referring to. Oh, they actually say 20% chance to trigger. I'm guessing that's Fierce Lightning. 100% chance to trigger is what it should be. So maybe that's, yeah, the 20,881 fire damage every 2 seconds does Power of Knowledge. Yes, Stormlore does say that, and Power of Knowledge says that. No. Yes, Power of Knowledge does say that. Took a moment. Here's the fancy Isengard Tavern. And hello, Chevron23 Lock. Glad you love my guides and they've been helpful. It's nice to see there are so many people here, even though it is late. I know Eastern time, it is like 10:45, which at least to me is quite late. I was a little bit worried starting a stream so late, but this is when we don't want to go to Aldberg. That is a very easy mistake to make. That's why I stopped there, because I knew I had to pay attention to where I was going. Okay, so the reason I went here is there are training dummies here. There's a DPS target dummy. There's also regular training dummy stands. I suppose I could put up combat analysis, but that's one thing I would ideally like to do given time, is just compare with at least my performance, how I compare with the two. Where's a good place for this? Maybe up here. How I play with the before and after. But I ain't gonna pretend to be the best with any of these, especially not having played Loremaster in a DPS role recently, or basically at all at higher levels. Actually, I did a little bit at 105, but again, that's a long time ago. And just been a long time since I've really played a high-level Loremaster. So one thing I'm not a fan of is pet swapping, so I'm actually not entirely... I was almost not entirely sure about my build. Maybe that's something I should look at. Let's see. Sword and... oh yeah, can't something else? Staff Strike. So Staff Strike still does that. Okay. I thought that might have been changed. Let's check the patch notes. See if Staff Strike... yeah, Staff Strike is not mentioned. I guess the very first thing before we even do that is just look at Burning Embers. So we have Burning Embers. Very nice. And then we have Searing Embers. So that's just from using Burning Embers again. Using Burning Embers a third time. And we have, ooh, fancy new icon, Blazing Embers. Wow, that one really goes up in the damage. 16,000 compared to just 11,000 on the first number. And then we have the target dummy disappearing. But something else you might notice is if I use Gust of Wind, that, yeah, there we go. Just took a moment. That upgrades it to Searing Embers, and then I can use Burning Embers again, etc. So let me just get one more of these just so I can see that. We have Blazing Embers still. I thought it was supposed to go up 4 tiers. It does seem to refresh the duration, so that's good. But all I can get is 3 tiers on that. Each tier, yes, it says smoldering to burning to searing to blazing. Oh, smoldering. I wonder if I am applying 2 stacks of it at once. Oh, there are so many things with the Loremaster. I am guessing that is actually what's happening. Yes, you do 2... wait. Gust of Wind. Upgrade 2 Burning Ember dots at once. Oh. Can you even get 2? Wait, does this trait even do anything now? Ancient Fire. I don't see Ancient Fire referenced in the patch notes. I know they talked about... there's just a lot of things with the Loremaster listed out. So if I move this to a more reasonable area for me to read and not face away from everything. So we have, oh, Fierce Lightning. That's something I have not checked at all. So I'll just do Lightning Strike, a simple one. That will put Fierce Lightning on the enemy. And then if I use Lightning Storm, I believe you can get 2 stacks of Fierce Lightning. Let's see if I use Stormlore, if that applies a new one. That did not apply a new one, so you can have 2 stacks of Fierce Lightning. That's a little bit odd. I don't know if there are enough lightning skills that would really be an issue. Looks like Staff Strike does not refresh Fierce Lightning or place a new one on, even when you use the Sword and Storm thing. Okay, so next up, I was trying to see the whole Burning Ember stuff. Yeah, I don't see anything. Okay. I also... oh, 0 frost damage? That's odd. Does this really do 0 damage? No, that did damage on impact. We could even see Gust of Winds. I do have combat analysis here to see that it actually did do damage. Okay, so next up is, I think it's been long enough, we can definitely check Sticky Gourd, which something did 1 damage. But yeah, Sticky Gourd now has, oh, there's Smoldering Ember, so that's the first tier. But Sticky Gourd now has its own dot. It's like just an AoE dot, really, a ranged AoE dot, so it functions like what you'd expect out of similar Runekeeper skills. No longer sets the ground on fire, which is really sad, because that's just a fun type of thing, to me at least. But I guess they gotta do what they gotta do, and hopefully at least Loremaster damage will still be comparable to what it used to be, or even better. That would be ideal. As far as I know, Ring of Fire hasn't really changed. They boringified that skill a long time ago, which again, to improve performance, but yeah, that was done. Doesn't seem to do anything. How about Wizard's Fire? This is something that almost feels like it could use an update, but then again, maybe it's okay just being like this. But yeah, I think, without going through all the traits, I think that is all there is for the Loremaster, so, or at least all there is for the Redline Loremaster. If I remember right, Raven's best if I don't want to do any pet swapping, because he gives fire mitigation. So, if we get out of combat, might take a minute here, I will do a parse. I put parse in quotes because that is me doing a parse. We'll see how okay it turns out. I think the general idea will be to use my strongest abilities first. I don't know how important it is to make sure you absolutely always alternate Burning Embers with other skills. I also think the Lightning Strike, something like that, will be a little bit better because it will consume one tier of Burning Embers instead of consuming like a single Burning Embers dot. So it'll consume one tier, then you can quickly reapply it. So things like Lightning Strike I think will be worth using more. If I remember correctly, Staff Sweep will still... Oh, I wonder if Cracked Earth... If I have time for Cracked Earth, maybe. I'm also guessing Power of Knowledge could be interesting. It's fairly quick. I'm curious if this training dummy will ever disappear. I'm actually not entirely sure. I might have done a Redline Loremaster guide, but most of it will be outdated. I would say the majority of it will be outdated. That said, I don't think I would actually change anything with the trait points. Like with what I put trait points in, I mean. Looks like I got up to, wow, a whole 67,000 DPS. I don't know how that is for level 120. I could actually compare it to my 120 Warden, who's probably roughly, no, definitely worse geared. I was going to say roughly similar in terms of DPS gear, but in terms of DPS stats, but probably worse. Okay, if we get out of combat, I will, one, try to do a test in Redline eventually, like an actual parse test, and two, switch to Blue Line. I can go back to the tavern, so maybe that'll get me out of combat. And eventually we will get to Minstrel and Brawler. To me, though, Loremaster is just most exciting. And yeah, Blue Line. I will test Blue Line, so maybe Blue Line can still be exciting for you, Chevron. Oh yeah, healing classes and builds. For me, the problem with making those, Andrew, is that I just don't play them as much. I could potentially do a Blue Line Runekeeper one if I didn't do one recently. I actually might have done one in 2020 because I was playing the Blue Line Runekeeper, or 2021 or 2020. I think either of those would be a possibility because, again, I was actually playing the Runekeeper for a bit there and even healing semi-regularly. Okay, so I'll get, what's the best way to do this? Let's go ahead and just get Redline done and over with, not to make it sound so bad, but I will attempt to play somewhat decently and somewhat realistically. I have no buffs. Okay, my crow's just going after him, so let's get this started. Do I want to use Insco to War? That's a lot of damage, so I probably want to try to fit that in. Ring of Fire is pretty good damage. Okay, so we have all the tiers of Blazing Embers, so I don't want to quite use Burning Embers. I want to keep the... Yeah, let's use... I should have used Insco to War there, I think. I want to make sure I optimize my lightning skills to keep up Fierce Lightning, which I'm not actually doing a great job. I also should have used Lightning Strike, I think, before I used Burning Embers there. These are just minor details. Why is my pet not attacking? Does he need to be on assist mode? There we go. Yeah, lightning strike does a lot of damage. I should probably make sure I use that a bit more. How about Light of the Rising Dawn? That doesn't do too much. I think we have, what, 3 minutes of this? Or should I just go... If it's like a regular training dummy, it'll be 3 minutes, but I actually don't know if it is. Burning Embers real quick. I really wonder what the point of Gust of Wind is if I have all of these stacks of that. Does it do enough damage that it's really worth using? I think we'll get Fierce Lightning from this, but I want to use Lightning Storm anyway, because Lightning Storm big strong. Also, debuff-wise, something you all might notice is I'm not using any debuffs. I think if you were playing Redline Loremaster and you didn't have a Yellowline Loremaster, they'd still be worth putting on. So that's just a random consideration. I probably also should be using Staff Sweep and Staff Strike, although I don't know how important those are in comparison to what they used to be, but they speed up the cooldown of some things. In particular, Staff Sweep will speed up the cooldown, and Staff Strike will give me a fire buff once every minute from Sword and Storm or this thing right here. It's only a 4% buff with the trait points I spent. By the way, I've still only spent 80 trait points. So... yeah, but it looks like my DPS is pretty consistently around 75k, so I'll just take that. We can look for we'll do current encounter, and just to get a screenshot of, oh wow, Blazing Embers. Burning Embers Thought is pretty far, I'd say my strongest here. Let's see, if I go back to, let's right click. I forget how to check the exact... So my total damage is 12.89 million, about 13 million, and that's 3.5, so that's a little bit over 25%, I think. It's kind of late, so I'm not entirely sure if I did that right. Oh yeah, it actually shows you. That's right, that's where it is. So in the right part, this part of combat analysis, let me move these to a more reasonable spot. So in this window, it says, like, if I go to Blazing Embers, it shows 27.2% of my total damage was done by Blazing Embers, and then Fierce Lightning. So 2 damage over time effects are what contribute the most damage. Overall, that's about 42-ish, 42.5% of my damage is in Blazing Embers and Fierce Lightning. So yeah, I don't know if people find that exciting, but... that seems to burst a flame. What is that? Is that Sticky Gourd? Sticky Gourd has 50 hits. I wonder... that's probably didn't do that much damage. It hit average 90k. Could that be Ring of Fire? Burst of Flames. Oh, is that the cash out on Lightning Strike? No, that probably showed its own thing. Would it? Yeah, I actually am not 100% sure what Burst of Flames is, actually. I thought the cash out from both of the lightning skills showed as their own thing, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, I will go ahead and screenshot this, and we have the video of it, so yeah, that is the Redline Loremaster. I can do the same thing with Blue Line. Might take me a moment to rebuild this, but the Blue Line, the main thing again is going to be, we'll just buff the damage of everything. Burst of Flames is cash out. Okay, good to know. That's not too bad damage from that then. I'm guessing it's so high because of crits. Yeah, I had 30% crit chance on that. I guess Burning Embers I just used so many times, so it got pretty high up in the damage. I'm really curious how it will compare in the what are we in? The blue line. I doubt it will be any good. Wow, that's hardly any tactical mastery. I feel like I want that to boost my pets, but why is my tactical? Oh, has my armor been damaged this whole time? Like, was my armor damaged when I did that? But still, my tactical mastery is quite low. Kind of surprised there's enough stuff to boost my tactical mastery so much in the red line, but yeah, maybe there is. We'll see. I guess at this point it's like, why not? But, well, actually I could run out of trait points. I should try to build this as I reasonably would. Okay. I think I get 1 point in that. That's really, I don't think that's significant. Pet roller store. It's morale. Oh, to heal 2% of my morale. Yeah, okay, we can put 1 point in that. That's definitely something I would pick. Definitely like the decreased attack duration. And then feral, and here it is, a murder of crows. Quite interesting. We'll apply that so we can look at it. Get this out of the way. Unfortunately, this is the slow part of testing class changes. I know it's less exciting, but yeah. So here's a murder of crows. This is what replaces Sikkim. And yeah, it's got damage every 1 second. That's actually pretty exciting. That's a lot of damage. And yeah, just a lot of damage in that. And it has this AoE of doing damage every 1 second to enemies. Does that include the primary target? That would be pretty crazy if the every 1 second apply that AoE also applied to the primary target. It sounds like it should. And the plus 10% incoming damage, that's quite exciting. Again, it is sad to lose Sikkim, but they should probably change this. Tutelage of the Brown Wizard changed the Sikkim part of that at least. And then for the rest of a blue line build, I want to spend as few points as possible in the blue line actually, and get as much in the red line as possible. Fire type damage, probably will want that. Lightning stuff. Definitely want lightning storm. Staff strike. I might want staff strike. I also don't know that ancient fire is necessarily possible. Sikkim was so it summoned a bunch of pets and you could control them, so it was mostly single target, I guess is how I would describe it. Okay. Actually, lightning type damage? Yeah, I probably would rather lightning type damage if I had to guess. Definitely want skill inductions and burning ember ticks. That should be helpful. Oh, there's the chance to apply 2 stacks of burning embers at once. Okay. I thought I saw that. Ooh, can I? Huh. Like that? I'm actually not entirely sure what would be best here, but I'm guessing getting more pulses would be better, but if you're maintaining it, it shouldn't matter. I don't know. I'll roll with this for now. There are a couple interesting choices you can make there, I think. I'll similarly go with the Raven, I suppose, because of the fire mitigation stuff mainly, if I'm going to test my own damage at least. And yes, it is possible to upgrade more than 1 line, so I'm spec'd into the blue line on this character, but I put trait points in the red line. It costs 2 trait points though, so each one of these I got in the red line costs 2. So often after you fill out what you want in your primary line, which for blue line Loremaster I just wanted to get a murder of crows. I actually don't even know if feral. Yeah, feral's probably worth getting, I would guess. Plus 50. What? Oh, it's damage. I didn't read that correct. I thought it just said plus 50% gust of wind. But yeah. Oh, I wonder if felines would actually be better for blue line. I usually don't use the cat pets because they just don't contribute much. The debuffs, like, the debuff here, minus 10% fire mitigation, but I also have plus 5% crit chance. So, yeah. I don't know about plus 50% gust of wind damage when it does 0 damage, which, by the way, it does actually do damage. It could only do the second part of damage. Anyway, yeah, that's the thing with the building. So, let's test this out. And the very first thing I want to test, we'll give my dude some catmint. I want to test a Murder of Crows. Yep, that seems to be doing lots of damage. And my pet is not attacking, because that's the way the pet works. So LM reworks in general is Burning Embers now applies a single dot that can be upgraded. It can be upgraded through Burning Embers or Gust of Wind. I believe Gust of Wind can still spread Burning Embers. Yeah, blue line damage is definitely weaker than red line. If there was any concern about that, blue line is definitely weaker. I can just immediately see my DPS is like... Wait, is this correct? Current encounters? Wait, it shows... Hold up. It shows right here my DPS. Oh, wait, I think I'm reading that wrong. My DPS might actually be higher. Yes, I'm looking at the wrong tab. So my DPS is higher than in the red line so far. A lot of it is a Murder of Crows, though. A Murder of Crows murdered. I think that's... I don't know what his deal is, why it's not attacking. Maybe I just need to click that. Oh, I could also use catmint. So my DPS is dropping down in the long run. I feel like I'm not paying as much attention to what I'm doing. I'm having more open, like, blank gaps that I should be filling in with stuff. Let's see, Power of Knowledge, that's probably a good one to use in the yellow or blue line. Yeah, for a moment there, my DPS is higher, so if you're in a really short fight... Oh, I should have used Lightning Storm before Burning Embers there, but... Yeah, if you're in a really short fight, I could definitely see blue line being more appealing than red line for my particular character. I don't know if this will apply to, let's say, better geared Loremasters. Like, if I end this little test here right after a Murder of Crows... I think it will actually be higher damage than the red line, because the Murder of Crows is insane. And I think that's a good thing. That's something that, hey, it helps the blue line Loremaster. But yeah, my 2 tests, definitely not a statistically significant number of tests, but my 2 janky tests with my character and my half setup blue line, I did more damage, but I cast a Murder of Crows twice. If I only cast Murder of Crows once, I think it would have been... I think it was actually going to be a bit worse than red line. But yeah, big difference is a Murder of Crows. Otherwise, everything else is weaker than the red line. But that one ability is just so strong if you combine the 2 effects of that. And this is an ability on a 2-minute cooldown. If you combine the effects of those, that is pretty crazy. Yeah, that was actually unexpected. I'm pretty impressed with that performance. So this Murder of Crows, the base dot for it, yeah, it did 32 hits. I wonder how that had 32 hits. Does activating the ability... Let's see, so I think it has every 1 second. Yeah, I guess the difference is activating the ability caused it to hit 2 more times. Don't you touch him as a 15% damage buff. Is that something in the blue line? Sounds like something in the blue line. Oh, I didn't even do that. 15% damage buff. You gain a damage buff if my pet is hit. Oops, I just totally skipped over that, didn't I? That wouldn't have mattered for the parse because I don't think anybody was getting hit, but you were correct that I could have picked that. And yeah, I didn't use Inner Flame. I also did not use that on the red line, so I wanted to compare those without doing anything different. Can you still abuse? Yeah, you can actually still abuse. I don't know if this would be almost like exploit Inner Flame how it works, but if you use the ability and then while you're in the animation phase, you can just try to move, and it won't move, it won't cancel the animation, but you'll just get that buff real quick. So it's actually pretty easy to, wow, that's 54%, that is pretty crazy. But it's fairly easy to maintain this. You could even do the same in the red line and get a pretty crazy buff. Okay, I have to test this now. I want to see if I can improve my DPS by doing that. I don't think it's intended for Inner Flame to work that way, but we can check that. All right, Catmint, because why not? I don't even know what it does for a crow, but again, why not? And my high priority is 1 for my crow to attack, and 2 for me to use. Yeah, there's my DPS up to 120k right now. I think I lost Inner Flame. I got too distracted by doing damage, but the good news is it's very quick to keep up. And with the blue line Loremaster, I have less stuff to do, so I can just use Burning Embers there a couple times and then use Inner Flame real quick and build it up. So we'll go just like I did last time and get up to use a Murder of Crows twice. It's also fun to just press the Loremaster buttons because they're exciting like that. At least they are to me. When I very first played LOTRO, I created a Loremaster, and I actually hated the game because of Loremaster, but I tried the Loremaster because I like that type of class, and this was... I didn't have Mines of Moria, which at the time was necessary for the Runekeeper. Of course, in the next update, everybody will get the Runekeeper. You don't even have to buy it in any form. But yeah. Yeah, Sikkim had problems with the whole not working pets being relatively weak. Pets not attacking. I don't know if this is just more of a training dummy issue though. This would be a really great time to have one of those plugins that tracks your buffs, because particularly when I'm just every 20 seconds, I basically have to make sure I use Inner Flame. It's just harder to keep track of. And I can't tell if my damage just right now is higher, but I think it is. We can try that with the red line. It's supposed to be getting to other classes, but one more thing to do with Loremaster. I also wouldn't mind actually taking this into a real world situation. That was a good hit of Lightning Strike. Oh, I actually did. I triggered the cooldown of Inner Flame. Okay, so we'll let a Murder of Crows finish, and I think I'll have quite a bit more DPS this round. What does Catmint do? For Raven, increases benediction of Raven Fire mitigation debuff and damage. Alright then. Minus 20% with Catnip, that's pretty good. Okay, Murder of Crows is done, and that time I got up to 90k DPS. Looks like the fire stuff did slightly better. Fierce Lightning, if you are curious, does fire damage. So it makes sense that fire would be a little bit better with that. Okay, one more test with Loremaster. Something I just thought of is I don't even have the new LIs. I am actually using the old LIs with this character. So, I don't know. I'll compare it with the old LIs. Like, I want to compare these results that I am getting with the exact same character, exact same setup, exact same everything. Okay, I can also spend more trait points, I suppose. I don't need that tactical mastery. I would sadly rather my pet get more stuff, I think. Catmint, definitely want that. There we go. I think that looks reasonable. Okay, so I'll try to test for the same amount of time, which I think would be... It'd be 2 lightning storms. I don't know quite 3 lightning storms. But I at least want to get 2 lightning storms in. Okay, build up in our flame. Let's see, that goes up to 36% it looks like for... Oh, that also boosts lightning damage? I did not even know that. Oh, I triggered the full cooldown. 4K UI support for this update. Not for update 33. That is something I believe Standing Stone Games has said they are working on. I don't know if there's any timetable on that, if they're trying to get it for this year even. Hopefully they would be, but I have not seen anything regarding 4K, and in particular, if there was, you would probably see some differences in the inventory and all the stuff. This would be coming in a future round of beta, but again, that is unexpected by me. I would not expect that. Okay, 10 more seconds on that. Ring of Fire, yeah. So yeah, it looks like Burning Embers guaranteed 2 applications from that with whatever trait points in the red line. Okay, good to get going again. I'll try to make sure I'm actually moving on each of these. Number to beat, I believe, is 90k. Oh, that's a lot of DPS I gotta beat. And I am going to start off with, probably would be better to start off with Nature's Fury, to be honest. And Lightning Storm, probably would want Burning Embers for that. Oh no, I'm gonna... Oh, good. So we have a rough start here. You can see my DPS is quite low. And I am going to try to hit everything with keybinds so I can keep track of Inner Flame. And hopefully my pet behaves. I don't know if that actually triggered in time. Nope. Alright, so I'm going to use one more Inner Flame after this Burning Embers. Which probably should just focus on that. And while I'm doing that, we're going to make the pet attack. And I'm going to use Catmint because I want his debuff to be stronger, but I don't think he's going to use that at the moment. We'll use Ring of Fire, and because I'm paranoid, I'll go ahead and use Inner Flame again. And then I'll use Lightning Strike because he already has good Burning Embers buffs, and then we'll rebuild that with this thing. And I'll go up here, and because I have time, I'll go ahead and do that thing, and then we'll go... Ugh. Talking through it makes it really sound crazy. I'm gonna do this stuff, and then I can do a new Inner Flame. And if I get... Yeah, we'll do this. Okay, I'm gonna use Insco to War, and then I'll use another Inner Flame here. My DPS is more than before, if y'all can see the numbers. I'm at like 80k where I was at 75k, I think, the previous attempt. I don't know how much of it we could really contribute to Inner Flame or just general improvements I'm making, even though I feel like some things I'm actually doing worse. But yeah, I'll let this play out. I think roughly 30 seconds more would be a good time, like comparable time to what I was doing in the blue line. Yeah, basically any downtime, just use Inner Flame. This is again without me applying debuffs of any sort. So I don't know if you were actually to play red line instead of yellow line in a raid or group content situation, how it might differ if you want to apply the debuffs. Okay, so I think that's good. We'll wrap it up there. I think I was about 85k. The profile of everything looks roughly similar, I would guess. Yeah, I used 10 bursts of flame again, so that was comparable. Oh, I got one of those. I got up to 95,000. So it looks like the first one, they had me at 75k, then that went up to 95k when I started playing better. So yeah, all I can say is it seems like red line and blue line are comparable. While I might do, I don't know, what's a fun thing to do? Is there a... I don't know, School at Thamerdane? That's a good one for me to just test things. And yes, you will have content up to Helm's Deep Cloud, sir, which can get you to 95 for free in Update 33 when this update is released, which I expect to be around April 20th, but the release date has not been announced besides coinciding with the anniversary and the such. Okay, so some general thoughts as I play through this instance. It is sad to see some of the things change with the Loremaster, as I mentioned, but it sounds like they're going to be for the better of the game, reduce lag, and I really can't evaluate DPS numbers compared to other classes, and particularly at endgame, because I'm level 120 and not boosting up or anything like that, and even as far as endgame goes, I have not played that much with Gundabad. But what I can say is it feels pretty good overall. Oh, that was fun. And I really like a Murder of Crows, as sad as it is to lose Sikkim. I do think a Murder of Crows is quite nice. Okay, let's see. Sticky Gourd. The skill used to be so exciting, but it just seems kinda weak now. I wouldn't mind a Sticky Gourd buff somehow. Even if the direct damage, maybe if they boosted the direct damage, I don't know. I'm also a little bit squishy here, which is not the fault of the update or anything. It's just that I actually am level 120 and running a 123 man, and I'm on a Loremaster. Okay, draw power doesn't seem like the strongest. And I'm not using water lore, that's like the secret. Okay, you really need to use the DPS ability to kill things, apparently. That's good to still know. Okay, I think I'll do this boss in the red line, then the next boss I can do in the blue line. Make sure I apply water lore. And yeah, let's start off with a lightning storm. I don't know if he needs to be interrupted. I really forget. Oh, there was one. Wait, there we go. Now my burning embers are upgrading. Well, he died quick. I also didn't get to pay too much attention to what happened. Any good loot? Oh, hey, I got Fire Lord debuff mitigation for the new LI system that I don't even have on this character. How many targets can this hit? 5? Oh, you have to actually target somebody for that? I didn't even know that. And that only hit things I was in combat with. So I'm guessing if I use Sticky Gourd in an area like that, yeah, it's... I'd say, honestly, that is probably the change that I'm the least fan of, is the Sticky Gourd changes. Oh, hopefully this guy doesn't one-shot me. I know there are issues with that. I could actually summon the Eagle Pet, because I think it can res me. Is that the res? Yeah. Okay, so if he one-shots me, I believe the Eagle Pet will res me. Also, I still need to deal with some other enemies, but we can do that. Oh, Gust of Wind. That upgraded Burning Embers. Did not spread it, but I am in the blue line. I have an interrupt. There it is. Way too late, though. Oh yeah, library bosses, you definitely need to interrupt them. Alright. Y'all ready? Oh, that didn't even kill me. it did it. I was not actually sure if that would do that. The Eagle did. The Eagle did 0.9% of the damage. Murder of Crows did... That would be 99.1% of the damage. So there we go. Eagle of Crows took care of the boss for me. I think that is a showcase of how strong that new ability is for the Loremaster. So that's exciting, and I honestly hope they do not nerf it, because it really gives... It just makes the blue line exciting, and based on my... Wow, I've been playing this a lot longer than I thought I have, but based on my very limited testing here in the beta, I just think that is, I don't know, reasonable, and makes the blue line, again, more exciting, more appealing. And for people that like the blue line Loremaster, I know I have in the past liked it, but I also really like the destructive nature of the red line. But I know people who like the blue line Loremaster, and I think that single ability can really make the experience with them better. So yeah, what class next? We have Beorning, which has very minor tests. Maybe... Whoa, where are the very minor tests? But had very minor changes. The main thing was execute. I don't know if how execute was changed, if it's viable. Execute, if y'all are not familiar, is a very bad ability and not worth the trait point. But in this update, execute now applies pip multiplier bonuses as base multipliers. So whatever that means, sounds like there are multipliers. I'm guessing pip would be for whatever the wrath. Actually, I don't know. But oh yeah, that is wrath. I was looking at Maul. Yeah, maybe with that execute. Okay, just looking at the damage, I don't think it's going to be worth it. There we go. That was easy. And I'm in the blue line right now, and even the blue line abilities are noticeably stronger than that. I think that was easy. That was a very, very minor test, but... And very quick. Loremaster versus Brawler. Probably Brawler. My Brawler's only level 105, but I should have all the abilities and should be able to get quite a few traits where the level doesn't matter too much. Main concern actually would be trait points, because if he's 105, and I use the 105 Array of the Valor, which comes with some trait points, not as much as like the good 120 and 130 Valor. Hey, that thing looks new. Efficient strikes, okay. New as in the icon looks different compared to last time I played this character. Fulgurant Strike looks very different. Has its own icon, which is nice. It always had the boot icon, I believe, from the Warden. So I always expected it to be a kick, but it never was. Okay, let's go to Thorin's Gate. Perfect. So Brawler. I think the very simple thing is doubled the damage of the builders, so that's exciting. I know the builders were really weak before. And then they doubled the damage of Latent Light and Nettles. Have no idea what Nettles is. Nettles. Oh, there it is. That actually is a thing. When the Brawler parries... Oh, they deal damage to attacker. Okay. I don't expect that to do too much, especially against a Draining Dummy. But hey, that'll help if you're taking damage. And in the red line. And then they increase the damage of Pummel. Pummel is a skill that I have been very critical about overall. So I'm excited to see if it's actually going to be worth using, because right now, while you're channeling Pummel, it takes your auto attack, so you get no auto attack damage, and 2, it just doesn't do much damage. This is my build, by the way, for this character. It looks like I did have Latent Light stuff, even though it didn't really do much damage. Maybe now it would actually be worth picking some of these other things down here that I didn't ultimately end up picking. Looks like I got yellow line stuff, because honestly some of the yellow line stuff really is exciting. Although I don't think I needed this food boost, unless that was to get more trait points to get down here, but it doesn't look like it. So I'd probably, yeah, let's respec that. I'm not feeling too comfortable with that build. Just in case I'll get an Isengard Tavern map. Always good to have those. This character is using the new ally system, so that's a difference compared to the Loremaster. And get different gauntlets. You only have one skin to use, but you boosted yours to 130. Weaponsmith I know has some. I don't know if they ever added any battle gauntlets to low-level quests, and if they did, if they have unique cosmetics. So yeah, weaponsmith would be one way. I don't know the cosmetics of that, what it looks like. And also, there is... If you did, I forget which bundle for Gundabad, I guess you could still get that. There's a bundle that has boxes of battle gauntlets. I don't know how those change or if those change through the levels, but that's what that one looks like. Actually, kind of like the look of this one, but you'd have to get armor that matches it, and I don't know if brawlers have a set of armor that matches that nicely. Oh, it's so weird playing a dwarf. I'm not a big fan of it. The camera's so low, which can actually be nice, but it's just, it's a change. Okay, so I should probably put some trait points into things. First Strike, the damage of that was buffed. Pummel, Helm's Hammer, First Strike, all those have been buffed. Pummel is also decreased duration, damage is faster, innate strength, increased duration. Suppose I could actually read the one I have on the left here. And then they also, yeah, just did general damage buffs, it looks like. Fist of the Valor. Fist of the Valor. Damage has been decreased. Oh, okay. It has a base damage multiplier, which is much more potent, and it has a pip mod. So per pip, which in this case would be metal, I believe, you get plus 15% damage per pip for Fist of the Valor. So hopefully that is overall stronger. It was a little concerning reading the reduced thing at first. Okay, they repeat the same thing about Fist of the Valor. Yeah, that's what it looks like for the most part. For this character, I will honestly just have no comparison. I could boost him to 120 and go through all that work, but it's quite late. I don't know if I want to go through all that this evening. But I could do that to... Is that setup skill damage? I would never have considered that before, and I probably still won't put that as priority, but... Yeah, I guess with the setup skills being improved, that is something to at least think about. And now this one, I think, also has a new effect. So critical hits with finishers generate 1 additional metal. More metal generation is always nice. That's something that... After a little bit more extended playtime with the Brawler, it got a bit, I don't know, I guess boring to me with the metal generation. There just wasn't enough. I felt like I was spamming my setup abilities a little bit much. Okay, enjoy battle damage. Oh, Brawlers have so many buffs. That's something I'm just not the... Ooh, I actually want to have an effect for training dummies, but oh well. Definitely want Vulgar Strike cooldown. That used to be one of the stronger things. And Helm's Hammer actually used to be one of the stronger abilities, and I see it was buffed even more. It's like already a really strong ability that's been buffed more, and great ability to use with Sinister Cross, because you can build up whatever innate strength that gives you damage in the red line. It would be this one, Raw Power, Quick Attacks. The only innate strength that I remember at least considering worth building. Aggressive Posture, yeah, why not? Light and light stuff. We have Devastate Damage. Overhand Smash reduces target's incoming healing, don't care about that. And then Light type damage, okay. So as far as I know, Latent Light is the only source of light type damage, so we will see if I want to put points in that later. But otherwise, we can get setup skill, additional metal. I don't think vulnerable is really worth worrying about at this point. Again, based on my experience, out of combat run speed. What's this one? Increased tactical mitigation, but that's a number, not a percent. If I had to guess, that would be decent to pick. Strike is 1, okay. Grants additional, yeah. We'll get that additional damage boost. Share innate strength, okay, I'm not going to do any... No sharing for me. And Vegas, yes, you can If you spec into, like I'm spec'd into the red line, you can put trait points into either the blue or yellow line. For a brawler, it's a little bit odd because the yellow line can't actually be spec'd into, and you can put, when I get these traits, they only cost 1 trait point, but that's a brawler specific thing. So usually for all other classes and for the blue line here, it takes 2 trait points. Like if I put a point there, it actually takes 2 trait points to get that trait. It's kind of neat you can get at least a single target taunt even as a DPS spec brawler. We'll get that. And what else would I want to spend points on? Oh yeah, probably devastate damage and then just light damage. I don't know. I might not even necessarily need that heal, but I think just good to have that. Hello, Michael. Okay, let's see. Do I still have... Don't still have combat analysis. And I have no idea. I have 0 reference for the brawler. Like, compared to the Loremaster, I have even less of a reference of, like, anything going on with them. So yeah, this will be interesting. Also, don't know if I play Brawler even halfway decently. I have some general ideas for things to use. Good priority skills like Fist of the Valor would be high priority. It's been a while since I've really paid heavy attention to what's going on with them. There's also, I guess, a question of if you want to stack all your buffs at once. Some of them have really short duration and maybe you want to spread them out. And I technically have all classes except Brawler at least level 120. And I have Brawler 105 is my highest, but a lot of those characters I don't really play. I just have them high level to have them high level thanks to the Valors. Alright, let's... This is really bad reference just going against a training dummy for me, at least with the Brawler. But yeah, let's see. Again, really don't know with all this stuff. It just takes so long to use all this stuff. By the time you actually get to using an ability, it's like, okay, you don't have any abilities anymore. I also can go into aggressive posture, and I feel like some of my cooldowns would definitely be up by now. Let's see if I can get 36k hit. Didn't even get a crit with that. And now I have to remember how to actually play the Brawler, so that's kind of neat. Overhand Smash. I don't know why that's way up there. That's a filler type ability, but yeah. Pummel. Let's just try it. That's... I'm not sure if that quite convinces me that it's worth it. No, that's one whole use of it, but definitely did not want to do things in that order. I think Strike Towards the Sky. Maybe I should have paid attention to the actual abilities to see what type of damage they did before I just jumped straight into this. I know I'm not getting any good crits on Fist of the Valor, which is unfortunate. Got some cooldowns up. Definitely less damage than the Loremaster, but then again, I'm like 15 levels lower. And I think for the level I have significantly, at least decently worse gear is how I describe it. Oh wow, my physical mastery gets up there. 200? I don't think I've ever actually seen that. 290% physical mastery? Well, no, Brawler has some crazy boost your damage buffs. I guess I already knew that. If I stacked all these things, could I actually get it up? Not enough power. I'm not allowed to have power issues. That's like a thing of the past. $309. Wow. Okay, so how am I doing on the damage? Yeah, I'm still not sure. I've used it twice now and I don't know about Pummel. Wow, my auto attack was strongest, really? That is surprising. First Strike was highest. First Strike you normally would not be able to use that much. I think it was a bad idea for me to even use it that much, but yeah, normal combat you would not be able to use it that much. Fist of the Valor. Yeah, Fist of the Valor, I would expect that one. She almost knocked my water over. had the top open. Pummel, I mean, actually did some relatively decent damage overall. But hey, using Pummel takes away from my ability to do a melee attack. Honestly, that's just really boring though. Again, I don't know if however long that fight was, it was definitely less than 3 minutes. If that's really a good reference for if a melee attack would usually be your strongest ability in a fight like that, but it's really boring to me if that is the case. That said, it does seem like there's good spread, like there's no one single ability that's really overshadowing the others. As far as per use goes, Helm's Hammer and Fist of the Valor are the two strongest it seems like, and then Strike Towards the Sky would also be up there. Full Grant Strike I used 2 whole times. What's that? This one? Full Grant Strike. Oh, that's the interrupt. I only used the interrupt twice. But yeah, I guess we can look at the actual damage. I don't think that's updated is one problem. It says every 1 second, but it should be every half second? Yes, okay, so the pulse is supposed to be every half second with that. Yeah, I would also like to see Pummel do more damage and be used more. As you mentioned, it gives you plus 10% Pummel damage, which expires if you're out of combat, and I think that might stack, maybe? I don't know, but yeah, it's an ability that should be really exciting, but isn't to me, is how I'd end up describing it. Alright, so I have reference numbers. What was I at? Roughly 10k-ish, something like that. I got screenshots, but... Oh, 12k. 11 to 12k. Probably 12k is the median... mean, not median. Between those two whole cases. Sample size of 2. Okay, next up we have Minstrel, who actually have at 121. That is one of my very few characters that I had boosted to 120 that actually got higher than 120. Minstrel, of all of them. That's just because Minstrel is really fun to do missions on. They got buffed, even though their DPS was already pretty... I think it was just underrated. I don't know if I would quite call it good, but I do think some people underrated it. At low levels, it wasn't particularly great from what I have observed. But yeah, let's see. Minstrel. It's been so long, and I definitely haven't focused on Minstrel at all. So, yeah. Let's see. 1 second. There we go. Let's see. Fixed racial animation discrepancy for Call of the Second Age. Apparently there was a racial discrepancy for that ability. Very quick on the high elf is all I gotta say about that. Song of the Hammerhand bubble has been nerfed. That's Gift of the Hammerhand. This one. Still a pretty decent chunk of my morale. Just to confirm, I'm Redline spec. Ooh, Redline has actually changed. I forgot there are some trait changes, so we can look at that. This character is using the new allies. I am surprised. I don't know if I've reforged it for 121. I might have. I have no idea. But yeah, I got that. Echoes of Battle, that used to be just not worth using in a lot of situations, and I still don't know on like a single mob if it will be worth using, but it looks like with the damage buff it will be a lot less bad to use, and in long fights of course you get the whole debuff situation, decreased crit defense and song and cry resistance, which really only affects minstrels anyway, but yeah, you got that going for it along with the increased damage. And then yeah, they changed the finesse trait. Piercing Ballads. Oh, Piercing Ballads now includes the finesse. Where's Piercing Ballads? First one? Oh. Oh. I'm bumping the mic because of the cat. You all can't see her tail, maybe? Oh, there she goes. but she's causing issues here. Hello, Nathan. Yes, it is. It is 10:46. I started the stream. It seems like I should have been going for like 4 hours how late it is, but I didn't start the stream until 9:30. I just wanted to make sure I actually got into the beta, and this was the only time. Like, can't do it tomorrow before 1 p.m. I wasn't able to yesterday, and wasn't able to until 9:30. So basically, instead of going to bed, I wouldn't have gone to bed that early. Maybe like nowish would be my guess. But anyway, here's Piercing Ballad. And after clearing my throat, it does give you finesse, 37,800. This level, that is okay. That's actually a decent amount compared to my total finesse. But yeah, you like want that trait anyway for crit chance of ballads. Did I recently do a Redline Loremaster class guide, trait guide? I don't think I did, but I recorded that. I recorded that, but never edited it or uploaded it. But I actually did record one, and I don't think I ever did anything more than that. I forget exactly why. 18,300 morale, that's actually pretty decent. And it gives Call the Second stun. Alright, we gotta get at rank 3, gains a short stun effect. Oh, that's not even just a 1 second stun. The question is it worth losing some of the things in the yellow line to get something like that? If you're just looking for raw DPS, I don't think it is. But we'll go through these one by one, because I know there were, it sounds like, quite a few changes. So definitely get Concussive Shout. That's the first thing I'd get. Get some crit chance, I'd get that. We could actually do this as a very quick build of Redline Minstrel. So, speccing into the Redline Mini, I would get Concussive Shout as the first thing, then get the Critical Strikes up for, because crit chance is nice, crit damage, big theme of Red Mini. Ballad and Coda damage, probably won't want that. Dissonance, Cry, and Call. So Dissonance, Cry, and Call. Dissonant or Dissonance? Dissonant, so that's anything in the dissonant stance. And Cries and Crawls are your strongest ability, so it definitely get that. 1% crit chance versus 5% damage. I would get 5% damage, but we'll get Call of Arome first, or Arome. Actually, I don't know. If anybody knows Call of Arome / Arome, I don't know what the umlaut's on top of the E. That is foreign to me. Okay, Dissonant, Cry, and Call. Got that. Next up, probably would increase the targets and damage of that. Let's just make sure. Yeah, that's what I would do. And then I would go back, cap off the crit, and then get Ballad and Coda damage. But we have some new stuff. Anthem of War, definitely want that. That's good buff. Light type damage. Everything is light type damage. So the other way to read that is increase minstrel damage up to 25%. And increase every damage versus just Ballads and Codas. Definitely would get some of that. Would definitely rather boost the damage of everything. Song of Arda, pretty neat. Arda, for people unfamiliar, I believe is the name of the world that Middle Earth is in. So that's pretty neat. I did not actually know that at first. I always thought way back in the day that Middle Earth was the name of the world. But it turns out Middle Earth is just the particular area. Wait, look at the map. Middle Earth is this particular area, and Arda is the world that contains this area and would extend around and have other places. So yeah, that's pretty neat. Anybody that's into the Lord of the Rings probably knew that, though. Okay, so we got increased damage there. Echoes of Battle plus 60% damage. Normally, I would not recommend that, especially compared to other options. That said, I don't think it's as bad as it used to be. Dissonant Strike, or Herald, Dissonant Strike steals morale. Yeah, that is called Dissonant Strike. Probably don't want that, but 50% morale. On a critical hit, you have to get a crit. Steal mitigation. That's actually pretty interesting, the whole steal mitigation. If it steals mitigation, would that act as a debuff? No, that's 2.5%. I thought that said 12.5%. I every 12 seconds using that, though. I don't know, that would be a mitigation debuff, but that's a lot you gotta invest into it. And I think there are other things that are better. Anyway, to get back to the build we were doing, we were at, I think, this point. We can get Dissonant Cry and Call damage. I'll get that before Ballad and Coda. And then probably for critical chance, 3% crit versus 5% damage. But the crit also comes with Finesse. I would probably get the crit here. If I remember correctly, in general, Minstrel could be a little bit different depending on their crit weight. But I would roughly equivalate 1% crit to 2% damage. But again, it depends on the class of your character and even your gear because of critical magnitude, that being a thing in LOTRO. Okay, so we get the ability Cry of the Valor and then improved Coda of Fury. Yeah, chance to reset Cry and Call cooldown. Now, I thought there was a note about that in the patch notes. Let's see. This one is called Improved Coda of Fury. Okay, Coda of Fury Cry reset chance increase up to 50%. So instead of 30%, it will be 50% in the beta. And that is it, I believe. So yeah, and then after that, get some more crit. Definitely get the active skill Cry of the Wizards. Echoes, all damaging cries have 33% chance to apply a bonus dot. Now, I thought this was also changed. Something thought she had a knot on her head. Fortunately, she does not, that I can feel. I remember something about dots. Echoes of battle. No, that's Echoes tick rate. Wait, Echoes a battle. I think the Echoes tick rate is referring to Echoes of battle. No, I don't know. With the patch notes here, I don't think there's much of a way to tell. But Echoes, as far as I remember at least, was also changed, but I'm not actually seeing that in the notes right now. Anyway, we can get back to building. And yes, Ken, the bear did get some minor changes. I logged onto it recently. I did log into it in the stream, and with their couple of changes, it didn't seem like execute was worth picking, but that was based on me just very quickly, like 2 seconds, looking at the number and not really bothering much else with that. Okay, continuing here, definitely get those. I totally ignored this. Ballads have this is the one that was changed. Whoops. So this one, if the cat stops, she keeps moving the microphone, but ballads have a chance to build. Okay, that increases your damage up to 25%. So each ballad you use basically will increase your damage up to 25%. So that's definitely worth picking. I don't know the order. I know I was trying to do this as an actual like build, so I don't know the exact order that I'd pick that in. Let's put 3 points in that and see what the stun is. So that is currently not saying how long of a stun it is. Oh, actually it is 2-second stun. Okay, we could get that up to 3-second stun and also improve morale. I'd probably ultimately get that. Damage done by timeless echo of battles. For solo situations, I would not get that, but in any long fights, I definitely think that would be worth picking. I think in the meantime, there's more interesting stuff in the yellow line, namely tactical mastery. If you need tactical mastery, there is always the chance that you're so great you don't actually need tactical mastery and you go straight for anthem duration. You also do get 5% tactical mit, which is just nice. Okay, so anthem duration is convenient, but you can just apply anthems more frequently if you have to. Rather get raw damage buff and something like Evolved Trades, which is just straight up 12% damage. Adds physical, yeah, definitely want mastery buff with something like that. This is actually one of the bigger things. Ballad critical hits will reset the cooldown of all versions of Piercing Cry. That is a really good one to get, even in the red line. I know it takes a lot of trade points to get there, but that is a really good one. That gives allies, yes, the reflection. I definitely consider putting 1 point in that. The question is, I guess, shield duration, plus 5-second shield duration, damage reflection. I don't know if I'd put more points in that versus Anthem duration. It's really only 1 point. I don't think there's anything else. Echoes of Battle, but I don't think that's worth points. How long do anthems last? I guess that's a good question. They already last almost 2 minutes? Wow. Okay, I would probably get the reflect duration. And we still have trait points, so I can still put 3 trait points there. I could if I really want to get the Herald Strength stuff. Damage skills have a chance to make your next heal skill critical. Oh, heals can make your next damaging skill critical. Alright. Change of pace. That's actually quite thematic towards the L line. I like that trait. Okay, maximum targets by gift of the hammer hand. Yeah, so for the amount of trait points this character has, there's nothing very particularly exciting in the yellow line. Like, this is a minor thing, but if I had to spend my trait points, I would end up getting whatever that's called, cacophonous timeless echoes. And then I would just kind of dump the rest of the trait points, which I think would be a change of pace, although that's a little bit odd. Maybe I'd get shield and cry before another point, change of pace. But there we go. That took way too long, but we built out a fresh red line minstrel. That is what it looks like. I don't know if that would be helpful to anyone, but there we go. Maybe I can cut that to be its own video, just so y'all get extra content and I can just have an easy video. Testing this. Yes, I would like to test it against a training dummy, and we can actually, I don't know directly compared to my Loremaster because I have the new LIs and I'm level 121, and if I remember correctly, I reforged for level 121. Let's see, she's a Forge Master, right? Yeah, so I did reforge for 121, so that's, I think, automatically going to make this character better than the Loremaster. But we can see if that actually holds up, and if so, how much stronger? I'm actually not used to ever being on that side of the Elrond's house here. But yeah, I'll head to the Isengard Tavern and compare it. And then if you all want, I can, even though it's late, I think I can log on to the live servers. That would be Arkan. Ooh, I don't know if I can do that on the Arkenstone characters, because I don't think I actually have access to a training dummy on them. And as far as I know, there's no just regular training dummies like the ones that are in, like the one you can buy for housing there. That's why I copied the Nor characters. Okay, so never mind all that. Or, nope. Actually, I have to go to Bree. I have to go to South Bree, then West Bree, then we can go to Thorin's Gate, then go to Isengard Tavern there. Cats seem quite settled. Sort of. Also, I just noticed the cat cam. Has it been like that the whole time? Usually that bothers me, but I guess I started the stream like late enough and rapidly enough, hurriedly enough, that I just never noticed that. It's also been very active as far as the content goes for me, like getting through all these clash changes in the beta, which are overall quite exciting. I still think Loremaster is most exciting because it's more of a rework rather than just buffing. Suppose Minstrel, I don't know. couple minor reworks, more so reworks than the traits, but oh, that's my mute button. I was wondering how I hit asterisk up there. But yeah, because I couldn't really think of anything else, my mute button on Discord is the numpad asterisk. I don't know how that came to be, but that was what it is. Okay, good. I was briefly worried I went into Alberg, but I did not. I'm also surprised there are like 4 other people on. I guess it's really late, but I actually did expect more people to be here in this particular part of the Isengard Tavern, going up against these training dummies. But yeah, this is actually going to be a relatively short stream for my channel, but as we near hour number 2, I think this is going to be the last set of tests that I have going on. And I have to remember how to play Minstrel real quick. Okay, so I know Piercing Cry, use that every time it's available. Oh, Call of Arome. Okay, that's why things look weird. There we go. Strongest ability first in general. Always try to animation cancel with Piercing Cry. Build ballads, build your anthems, use Cry of the Chorus. That is a really strong ability, so use that as well. And let's see. No. Anthems. Actually, don't know what anthems I want to use solo. Probably only 7 and 8 if I had to guess. Can use Coda. I probably shouldn't have used my Coda there, but I don't think it's that bad that I did. How's my DPS doing? Actually doing quite bad. I don't know if that's a me thing or a Minstrel thing, though. I also don't have echoes of battles, because I'm really not used to applying that. I'm also not used to having to actually use my ballads, apparently. Wow, I'm getting a lot of resets on that. I'll go ahead and reapply my anthems just to be safe here. Oops. Oh, wow. You can also even use a heal to animation cancel, which is quite weird. The dash one, but the dash action itself, the ability I have in dash, don't know the name of it right off the top of my head. It itself has a little bit of a long animation, just something to keep in mind. But yeah, my DPS is improving, but it's nowhere near Loremaster. So based on that, my little test here, I would definitely say it could be even better. I don't know that I'm quite playing Red Mini. Not even perfectly, but yeah, not even good. Here. Oh, that was a bit odd. At this point, it's almost like button mashing whichever cry comes off cooldown. Always trying to use Piercing Cry whenever I can. Here, we have stuff coming off cooldown, so use all this. Hope my things reset. They did not, but I have Cry of the Chorus quickly available, so I can just, yeah, do all that. DPS isn't really going up much. I don't know. This is almost... I hate to feel this way about it, but it's almost disappointing how little damage I'm doing. I don't think there's anything, like, immediately, obviously, like, majorly wrong. That's a little bit of a down period. It's like when all my cries are off cooldown as well as the coda, I have a second where I actually have to think what to do when all the ballads are available. Oh! We actually went through a full phase there. 66,000. I'm just not impressed. Wow, my tactical master is up to 240. We'll see what happens when it calms down, all my buffs leave me. But yeah, that was honestly quite low. Call to Fate did the most damage. That's actually good to know. I would have expected Cry of the Wizards to do the most damage, to be honest. Now, there could be, with the small sample size, some issues with crits and the such. Changes. Those are... Here, I'll link them again. But by cliffs, maybe you mean quick summary. Mainly Minstrel buff, Loremaster rework, a little bit of a rework. And somebody else here? Oh, somebody else is here. Well, they're doing a lot more DPS than me, but they're level 140. And they have all the buffs active. That is not necessarily going to be the most representative, but anyway, I don't want to get into that stuff right now. It's basically if you are testing the DPS and self-buffing yourself, that can convolute the results a little bit. Alright, so that's why with all my characters I do them as is. I guess it could be interesting to boost to 140 to see what you could do. But yeah, anyway. Off of that, I do like that the damage is pretty balanced between the abilities, and there we go, Echoes of Battle and Long Fight actually did end up doing a lot of damage. So that's even a little bit of a surprise to me. Harsh Echoes, that is the dot, I believe, from when you get a crit, or just 33% chance to apply. That thing. Coda of Fury, I used that 14 times. Oh yes, so I was going to look into why Call to Fate did so much more damage than Cry of the Wizards. I used it twice as much, so without the twice as much, yeah, it looks like the average hit is 110k versus 99k, so Cry of the Wizards actually was strongest, so there you go. That should be the highest priority based on my test there. Cry of the Wizards does the most damage. Actually, Cry of the Valor does more. Huh. I wonder if that, again, could be an RNG thing, or if there's a reason it would do more. Yeah, based on the tooltip, it shows the damage being more on Cry of the Wizard, so we can investigate why that happened. Okay, Cry of the Valor had 37.5% crit, whereas Cry of the Wizards had 25%, so that is probably the difference between the two. So per hit, Cry of the Wizards does more damage, but that is true that it is like its DPS contribution would be lower because it has a longer animation. But you can see here that the Cry of the Valor average hit was 125k, and Cry of the Wizards was 110k, but the maximum on them, Cry of the Valor was 190k, whereas Cry of the Wizards was 216k. So it's a difference in crits. And that's also the problem doing tests of all this in this manner, is that's a really small sample size and there can be so many fluctuations. Like if I tested this again with the DPS I had wherever it went, 66,000, something like that. See, I think, yeah, because this is when the other Minstrel came in. They got up to 511, that's quite a bit. But, yeah, Cry of the Willow. I've not seen Cry of the Willow. But yeah, basically, just the variance in what can happen between tests. With all the stuff I've been doing today, has been pretty much one test per class real quick. So doing this once more could have decently different results depending on how many crits I get and the such. Piercing Cry got a lot of crits. Wow, 68.4% chance. I forget if it has a higher crit chance, if there's an actual reason. that might have. Okay, plus 30% crit chance. That would explain quite a bit of it. So yeah, another thing, a random thought here, if I go back to totals, is my damage versus crit damage. Where is that? Critical hits? Normal hits, there we go. My crits are about 3 times as strong as my hits. So the crit weight would be... Oh, I'm trying to remember. Well, that would be. It's too late to think about that. Three? Yeah, okay. I don't know why that took so long. So 1% tactical mastery would be roughly equivalent to... No, the other way around. 3% tactical mastery would be roughly equivalent to 1% crit on this particular character, which is quite drastically different than the Warden, where I think it's can even be below 2%, but I'm a little bit... I haven't tested that in a while. I've paid attention to that in a while, so I'm a little bit less sure on that. But yeah, it looks like for this Minstrel at least, that is how I would value crit, which is definitely a lot more than Warden. That's all I gotta say there. That's why with things like the Hunter and Champion, 2 classes I don't play as much, I'm not too familiar with their exact crit, and that's why it's important to look at percents and for your character when you would rather crit versus mastery. Anyway, on that rambling note, I think it's a good point to wrap up this stream because it's quite late and it's been hectic, but hectic in a good way as we tested the Loremaster, which to me, most exciting changes overall. Minstrel actual performance of this particular character is actually disappointing, especially compared to the Loremaster, but hey, that's just a better thing for the Loremaster. They're actually more exciting with the damage they do. I'd be interested to compare to my Warden. I don't think I copied my Warden from a Nor over, but yeah, would be interested comparing the Loremaster to my Warden, who's also level 120. I have no idea what my Warden does. Could also test the Beorning, but it's too late for that. I do have my 140 Warden. We can log on him to get a couple scenes of the Shire as I do my outro stuff. So just a reminder, all this stuff is in beta for update 33. The release date has not been announced, but I would potentially expect it to be when would that be? Yeah, well, my expectation would be April 20th because that is the start of the anniversary. It could even patch April 19th or something like that, but that would be my expectation at least. We'll see if that actually pans out. And anything else? I don't know that there's much else with that. Overall, Brawler damage buff, couldn't really tell too much from that, to be honest, but it's good that the damage is buffed. Other classes got some kind of minor things than all the Loremaster stuff. Bit sad to see some of the stuff go, but like overall is looking pretty good, and I really do like a Murder of Crows. I'm glad I like it because with Sikkim, losing that is definitely sad. And Minstrel, I'd really have to compare Minstrel to the old version, but I will say in my particular test it didn't look great. Again, I don't know that I play the Minstrel perfectly there. Yeah, I didn't actually spend that long actually looking at the skill damage to confirm how I was playing it a little bit more. So yeah, the only reason I'm thinking that is because of how relatively low it seemed. That's why I would want to compare it to perhaps trying different things in combat, but also comparing to my Warden on an orc, because that would be a good benchmark for me for some relative performance. But yeah, that is something for the future, I think. And until that future, good point to wrap up the stream and stop the rambling for real. Do want to briefly update on my content. Today is Thursday, I think. And I don't really know what I have planned coming up. It's just busy times for me in general. That's going to be the reality the next 3 months. So there's a decent possibility that bigger videos are going to be spread out more, maybe once a week, and then easier videos. I'm hoping to get to some class guides, which aren't necessarily easy, but they sometimes take less time to make. And I guess that really depends on the guide itself. All the time isn't even put into the video and done on like the research process, if you want to call it that. But yeah, this is just some potential things to look out for, I guess, in the next couple weeks, and really just waiting for update 33 to actually release. And that does remind me the level 120 is coming for an orc. Kind of forgot about that, but that is coming up in next Wednesday. So I do want to do at some point, probably this weekend, we'll do a prep stream to make sure my character is actually prepped for that, and try to not do it on a day where my kin has an event to distract me from that. So yeah, that is stuff coming up. And as far as this stream goes, with all the changes and looking at that, I hope this was helpful for y'all, interesting for y'all, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. And if you did, please consider liking and subscribing for more, or becoming a channel member to support the content. And thanks for joining, chatting, and watching, everyone.